My name's Cacho. I play wewet.
My name is Joe Galarza. I play flutes and different wind instruments.
Yaut Masawa, and I'm a member of Aztlan Unearthed.
Aztlan Unearthed is a rendition of Aztlan Underground when we would kind of do more of an acoustic tribal interpretation of the music that we were doing or conveying.
Aztlan Unearthed is a extension of Aztlan Anahuak Underground. We are a indigenous instrument focused acoustic group that highlights the ancestral instruments that we have inherited and trying to rescue and trying to make sounds and energies and frequencies with.
Which was drums, flutes, rattles, as well as like other percussional indigenous instruments.
I never learned like really like traditional danza cadences or things like that, where danzas were things like that. I was just I don't know, it was just kind of born into my heart to be able, and given the opportunity more like to just play on this beautiful instrument that just wow, in a sense is like helped me, like made me whole in a sense.
I guess we'll come back to saying that Tribu were the ones that really like has influenced a lot of us, and at the same time Quijas, and America Indígena, that they're doing their work as well after the fact that Tribu merged from that.
It started before me. I mean, Yout and Joe and Bulldog and Bean and beyond me.
We are influenced by others that came before us in recovering the instrumentation, like Tribu from Mexico, who have been academic even in recovering the instruments and the ways they play and their significance, as well as Javier Quijas Ixchel Yout, who passed away onto the spirit world already, but we really tap into the vibe of using instruments, and we're really percussive heavy and flutes, and that's the beauty of what we do is we try to invoke like all of our ancestral remnants through the instrumentation.
They inspired a lot of us, and from there actually trying to replicate our interpretation of these instrumentations that we're using, which is like the wewet and the rattles, and also even the language, if it was, or the poetry over it, that kind of like a element of flower and song,
It gives us the group Aztlan Underground the opportunity to play the old instruments, the instruments of our ancestors. It allows us to it gives us a chance to for those instruments to be heard, for us to be able to speak through them. Since it's not that loud, it's a more intimate thing, and it's like your friends when you're 7 years old, like playing in the playground, and they ask you to play, so you just kind of follow them and just do what they do, and it's a lot of fun and just really enjoying, So it's our way of connecting with our past, with our ancestors, with and it's a whole other thing,
We were performing and doing it was wewet, flute, two wewets, flute, rattles, and we actually tapped into like some ancestor vibes.
It just had like great, really good acoustics in there. Like, you know, you hit the wet and just like the whole room just. So it was just really one of those just we just got caught in the in the musical moment. We're just just doing, I guess, what we do. Just creating sound and just bouncing off each other and just we usually get thank yous and things like that, but a lot of people were just like, whoa, like what was that? Like, there was some kind of energy going around. It was whether it was coming from us or just the people that were there that day, or just there was just some kind of energy there, and can't describe it obviously, but I had a lot of people like just come up to me going like, wow, like what was going on there? There was something going on,
We were playing at I think this place called Corazón del Pueblo, and that day I know that your uncle died, right? Your uncle passed on, and we ended up like kind of honoring him, and I think we were just performing, and I think during the time that you were performing, you were kind of thinking of your uncle at the time.
It was kind of a trip because my uncle had just passed a few days beforehand, and I'm not very good at prayer and things of that sort, but like when I play like the wewet, when I'm getting fed back what Yaud and Joe and and Raul were doing at the time, we're just I it's emotional and it's spiritual for me. So we're just playing, and I was just having a conversation with my uncle who had just passed. He had cirrhosis, if I may say. He had cirrhosis of the liver, and he just he drank himself to that point, and I could see him when he was passing. He was really in pain. It was really painful for him, and so I was just still emotional from that. So I was just having a conversation with him. I grew up with him, so we were just talking. Of course I'm doing the talking, but just talking and going, and a friend of ours got a chance to was filming the performance, and it was a trip because it was just like seeing two orbs like just flying around, like just kind of moving around in unison, and it's a trip because my uncle and my brother really got along. Like they were just like like two peas in a pod, So I knew the first person that was gonna meet up with him was gonna be my brother. So it just seemed like they just came to check out the show, and it was a trip. We're just I was having a conversation with him, and in my own thing, just me personally, I wasn't I didn't tell anybody, but later on, like a few days later, I saw the video and it just made perfect sense to me personally, so.
There was actual orbs, and you could look it up on YouTube. Like there was ancestors really flying around, if you will. That might sound outrageous or fantastical to people, but we really, if you look at the footage, and I think the vibe really carried over, because that's when Carlos Nino, asked our really good friend Lily Flor, like, who was that? He already knew us, but he didn't realize that it was Aztlan Underground, other project called Aztlan Unearthed, and then he contacted us, and we were able to get together and record in the KPFK studios.
So we made a date on the sense of like when we could go in to record, what instruments we were going to bring in and all that, but in the same time it was more of a freestyle session that we did, kind of like a jazz session that it allowed us to kind of like just be free form to what we were going to create and do. and all the recordings that we did at the time were kind of like the good parts were picked out of the whole sessions to make this record.
You know, we came in and just again we were in a good, comfortable environment with just good people, just all these fun instruments to play with and all that, and we just had a you know, just luckily another magic moment, and luckily Carlos was there to, you know, and his friends were there to capture it, you know, and that's what became the record, you know. And I'm sure he moved it around a little bit, which I'm sure it needed, you know, but for the most part it's pretty much us from beginning to end, just starting and then going into, you know, hills and valleys, you know, sonic hills and valleys, emotions going back and forth, and then just ending. And you know, he just caught it that day, and that's that's for, I would say, like 80% of it, there's somewhere on there is going to be the recording.
And it was a wonderful tapping in of energies again. We were able to capture that. Like, it was actually a bunch of we just improvised. We had some, I want to say probably about a quarter structure, if you will, but we really went in there with just let it go, like a freestyle, freeform, almost jazz kind of sensibility in the improvisation, and it really came together, and we were able to put together all these tracks that Carlos Nino ended up editing and putting into, you know, dividing them up, because it just went one energy into another. It was really beautiful experience that was captured on this piece.
Well, right now we're still in the progress and process of trying to release this record. So as we get our work out, hopefully things will kind of open up to release the work for the world to hear it, you know. I think this record can really open up doorways in a way to perform this type of music to places that we can really like showcase this type of work that we're doing on this angle prior to the live instrumentation that we normally do.